So yeah, I just want to say thank you again here to Scott for coming out and Genmega for letting them do this. Because I know sometimes companies kind of say, well, we don't really want you going off and talking to a bunch of random people here. So, Scott, if you want to introduce yourself, you're it's a new role, right, at the company, and kind of everything about you and Genmega.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess first things first, it's definitely an honor to be here. I think it's really neat that there's a community of nearly 30,000 ATM owners and operators that, it doesn't really matter what manufacturer you buy from. It's a community that seems to be somewhere you can go if you need guidance, advice, help in sticky situations. And that's if you're a brand new, someone brand new to the industry, to the business, or if you're a 30-year vet. I think it's great that there is a resource where people can go to for help. So yeah, I've even started on some calls I get where someone's thinking about buying an ATM or want to know about the ATM business. I've started to list you guys as a resource. Hey, check out this Facebook group. There's just so much good advice and good resource there. And as a sales guy, of course, I'm biased, but it's also a place to say, hey, go ask around to the guys who have their hands on the machines and have been working with these things for years, and ask them what they think and take it from them, because obviously you'll get a biased opinion from me, but those are the guys who know their stuff and will tell you straight up the pros and cons of all manufacturers. So yeah, I think it's awesome what you guys have going on. And to say I haven't been lurking around in there from time to time, that might be a lie. So I've been keeping my eye on it recently, and I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. So just want to give a little bit of kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You can always speak up. Don't be afraid to voice an opinion or tell us what got wrong. So
Absolutely. Yeah, it's from an official Genmega or manufacturer standpoint, do we want to really go down the road of like getting in there and trying to answer every question?
yeah.
I think it makes a lot of sense and it'd be good, but at the same time, sometimes there's not enough hours in the day, being that we don't really have a marketing department. We do a lot of things ourselves there. So yeah, I like to pop in and scroll back and check and see what's going on. But yeah, that's definitely something to think about, and something, if we talk about social media later in this talk, we can maybe touch on that a little bit more. But for those who do know me, hello, good to see you guys. And for those who don't, I'm Scott Weaver. I'm the VP of Sales for Retail ATMs, and that's a relatively new title. And it's, at the end of the day, it's just a title. Not a whole lot have changed in my day-to-day. A lot of you guys know Wes Dunn, who's like the OG of the ATM industry and has been around for years and years and years. He's kind of taken a bigger role with the kiosk and self-service space, and I've been taking over ATMs more and more the past 3 or 4 years. So this is just kind of a product of that split. Not to say he's not involved. He's there if I need anything or if you guys need anything. I know some people still reach out to him, and that's great. He's always there to help, but I'm really there and have been taking a lot off of his plate the last few years. So I've been at Genmega now 10 years, which is just crazy to think about. It's the longest I've stayed anywhere in my life, and it's actually about a quarter of the time of my time on this planet. So that's a kind of a weird way to think about it, but it is somewhere that I like to call home, and it feels like that. So and I think it says a lot about the company that I have stayed there for so long. So yeah, started around 2014, and Wes interviewed me at a Starbucks at the Dallas Galleria, and I had been working in HR with Xerox, and they had a big layoff. I couldn't find a job for the life of me, and one of my best friends his wife went to high school with Wes's wife, and they had put a post on Facebook about they're looking for someone, and I was like, well, I got nothing going on. I don't know anything about ATMs for the life of me, but let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. So I took a chance on it, and I think it's worked out really well, and I'm pretty happy with where we are right now.
So you were a Xerox guy before, huh?
Yeah, a big Xerox guy. Yeah, I lasted a whopping 8 months there, so I don't know how much of a Xerox guy I was. But yeah, I'm glad they laid me off and a few of my coworkers, and I'm glad I landed with Genmega.
Yeah. So can you give us some history about Genmega and also, what you guys offer? Obviously, we know ATMs, but like as you mentioned, kiosks is another big portion of you guys' portfolio. Am I missing anything else too? I mean, if you just kind of want to go over all
Yeah,
that.
for sure. Yeah, we started initially as a component manufacturer years and years and years ago, and at some point moved on to making our own retail ATM. And I think coming from a place where we were kind of the, little brother on the block and viewed as like, what you guys are doing is real cute. But, we were never the major player in the ATM space. So when I came along, they'd been going at it for maybe about 2 years. So a lot of the initial history was before my time. But when I came on, it was retail ATMs. There was no kiosks in existence that I was aware of. And so we've really come from being, just a small player to now getting to the point where we're feeling really good about our position, and we've grown the business. And Wes has taken over kiosks and the whole self-service space. So, crypto ATMs, bill payment ATMs, ticket or bill payment kiosks, ticket redemption terminals. Basically, if somebody can think it up and code to our hardware, we can make it. So a lot of it is dependent on the solutions provider to come to us with an idea, and we will work with you to build a machine. So we're loving new ideas and new opportunities. And so as a manufacturer, if someone has something for us, we're all ears and ready to go. So we have retail ATMs, self-service kiosks, and then we do some component manufacturing for companies. Like a good example would be a company called ICS. It's Innovative Control Systems. They're out of Pennsylvania, and essentially they're buying our components and dispensers for car washes. So they come up with car wash systems, and they take our dispensers and put them in their terminals there. So we're kind of all over the place, but really our main focus is retail ATMs, and we're not trying to reinvent the game in that space. And we really do like to stick with our bread and butter there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And what about, and do you guys do much on financial side, or is that not really,
no,
right?
no, that's not really our space. We want to stick to retail space. We want to stick to convenience stores, bars, restaurants, and the goal is just, hey, we're going to keep things simple. We want a affordable, reliable machine to put out in the retail space, and we want to make a machine that doesn't require a lot of service calls and a lot of visits. And it's like a machine like the 2500. We just want to hammer out transaction after transaction, and we don't really have any inclination to be in the financial space. There are some credit unions, some smaller financial institutions that will get a GT 5000 for a drive-through, something like that, but no deposit taking, nothing like that. We just want card in or tap and cash out, and keep things simple and reliable.
Yep. So you brought up a good point right there is SAP, right?
Yeah.
That's probably, I'd say in our group, and probably overall industry wide, it's kind of becoming the new hot topic. Yeah, everyone wants to know, can I do tap to pay on my ATM? How do I do it? And will it work? And I know you guys seem like you're the first movers on that, like you are in a lot of stuff. How's that coming along? Is it, you guys got any plans for it different? I mean, I still, to me, the price point's high, but it's needed in some spots. So, I've implemented it on a few, but
yeah. A lot of that demand is going to come from the end location. If someone's really pushing for, hey, I want tap in my store, that's the future, that's what I want to do. Okay, it might be warranted there. So I think it's still early in the tap game or the NFC game. You know, we have the hardware, we know it works. We have the kits for each machine. And as a manufacturer, you know, it sounds kind of cliche to just point the finger at a processor. And that's not what I'm doing at all. It's just, you know, I think the processors have their priorities for sure. And I know NFC is on the radar, and at some point it will be certified by all major processors, but it's still relatively early. So there's only a couple that have certified, and there's a couple where it's working very well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think maybe this time next year we'll have a few more on board, and you'll have some of the larger distributors, you know, will have the green light and they'll start selling. So it's been great for those who have been putting them out in the field, and the sales have been good, but it's not.
Yep.
It's not perfect yet, and you know there's some confusion on, okay, can you tap with a card, or can you use your phone or Apple Pay, Google Pay? And
Yeah.
so I mean there's a lot of people who put them out there, and I think it's DNS where that's the only one I can think of that has the green light on all forms.
And
And
even then, I think it's not 100% still.
right.
I mean, I think it's a uh, big mission for them. I mean, I think they're kind of leading the way on that on the processor side. So
Yeah, I think, and to that point, I've kind of been hesitant to really get out there and push NFC to the forefront of our marketing and at shows. You know, I'm not trying to sell anyone anything that would cause a problem. You know, I don't
yeah,
want someone to say, "Oh, NFC sounds cool. I'm going to throw it on my machine," and then they get out there and transactions are being denied, and that person may think there's an issue with an ATM. And you know, if NFC is on the machine and it doesn't work, they might walk away. Whereas if the NFC wasn't there and they just used their card, they would have got cash out of the machine. So
yeah,
we want to make sure that you know it's going to work with your processor and it's not going to cause issues at the terminal. So that's why it's kind of been a slow drip rollout so far. And I think maybe again this time next year we'll be in a better spot to where we can maybe promote it a little bit heavier.
yeah. Are you guys looking to eventually integrate it into the machines a little more seamless? You know, or I don't know how hard that is on the manufacturing side. Obviously, it's molding and everything, right? But
Right. Yeah, yeah. Right now, having to drill into the bezel right now may not be the best long-term solution. I think, yeah, if it was something where it was just seamlessly added, maybe behind that plastic, I don't know how that would look, but yeah, I think that's a good thought, to where it's just a seamless add, and the customer really doesn't have to do much or think much about it. So
yeah,
yeah, I think you know in a couple of years we could be looking at something a little bit different. So yeah, that we'd definitely be open to that.
yeah. No, I mean, it's great. At least, I mean, I think people have asked about it for years, right? And it was always like, oh yeah, it's going to happen, and to actually see it start happening is good. So, you know,
Yeah,
you
I
guys,
felt
like I said, you guys are basically the only ones really doing it on the retail side and making it work. So,
Yeah, for sure. And if anyone has feedback on, you know, how your terminals are doing that have NFC added, you know, we would definitely want to hear about that. And if there's any notes or feedback, like shoot me an email, call me, whatever it is, and we definitely would love to hear. Because, you know, it's been felt like a broken record at trade shows for a few years saying, "Oh yeah, we're close with NFC, it's going to happen. It's right around the corner." And then after a couple of years, it's like, "Man, I've been saying that for a while. Like, is this actually going to happen?" And then boom, like that, they came in from Korea and we started rolling them out. So it seems like
yeah.
it's been a while, but I still think it's early and we have quite a ways to go.
Now, from the machine side, like as a data perspective, does the machine know that it was like a tap to pay transaction, and does it know if it was a phone or a card? I mean, because that's one thing I think I'd like to see data wise, just to know, like, okay, if I spend the $500, $400, whatever it is, and put this on my machine because my customer's asking for it,
Mm.
is anybody actually using it? I mean, am I getting a return on my investment? Is that something feasible you guys can do?
That's a good question, and honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
Because yeah, that's useful information. Like if you put the NFC reader on the machine and there's no change in transaction volume, then what was the point of doing this for sure? So
Yeah.
yeah, we'd like to see those numbers on how many more transactions are added each month because of tap.
Or even just even if it's not added, but if it's a percentage, and I know, okay, 40% of my transactions are now tap after I put it on, like, okay, this definitely is something people like. And I think, one benefit of the tap is it reduces wear and tear on the card reader. So
Yeah, that's a that's a very good point. Yeah, that's true. And then I think sometimes the locations demand it because you have a lot of people that come in, they'll say, "Do you take Apple Pay? Do you take Google Pay?" When they're buying a candy bar or whatever. And so they think, "Oh, I need it at the ATM. I need this at the ATM," when maybe, I don't know, it's hard to quantify if you do or not. So that's something we're going to have to learn, over the next 6 months or so. And that's,
yeah,
again, getting feedback from you guys. That's really what's critical. So
yeah.
that'd
I
be
think
good.
I think Shyam has got a question here, and I think he's been monkeying with NFC too. So
He's the NFC
see what he
guy.
says.
There's no one I trust more with that question.
Hey Scott, how are you? Thank you for being here. Uh, so here's my question in terms of the NFC. Uh, uh, how soon can we kind of pull some reports from the machine that specifically let us know uh, how many of the uh, card user was for NFC? Specifically, what I'm talking about is like, for example, uh, like a nail salon, right?
Mhm.
A nail salon is a perfect example where people got their nails done and they can't pull the card out often enough, and they're using NFCs. So that's my sample population that I'm using, and then I decide, okay, do I go my next NFC? Does it go into a liquor store or my next liquor store, like my nail salon, right?
Right.
So
So
I
specifically that,
just asked that question, John. Right?
right, right. So again, I heard that, Dave. So I heard that, and I'm like, again, going in that direction, like based on my experience at least, that as Genmega, you guys have been pretty receptive in terms of stuff we as the end deployers, stuff like that. So what do you see it happening? Like how do you guys prioritize that? Hey, this sounds like something we need to get answered and handled and available for the deployers. I mean,
Right. I think that's a good question. I think I don't really have a system to prioritize, what we're going to focus on or suggest. I think you've seen this yourself at trade shows, when you're talking to myself or Ben or CK or whoever it may be, if something makes good sense and um, if it's something we are hearing from you guys, the ones who are out there with the machines and who are working with machines every day, if you guys tell us something that makes sense and it's something we can change, I mean, you've seen CK jump on the phone and call Korea and make the change in 5 minutes. I mean, that certainly has happened. And with your suggestion on the light for the card reader for dark environments, I mean, I think it was maybe two trade shows where that happened, but he ultimately made that call and had the product created. So if it's some
and
feedback we're getting and it makes sense, we're going to look at it. And I think we'd be very foolish not to listen to feedback from you guys, especially when there's a consensus in the group. So yeah, we don't really have a system. It's just, I'll be taking my notes just like we do at trade shows, and I can go to CK and our engineering team and say, hey, there's 2 or 3 ideas here that I don't think it'd be difficult for us to integrate, and I think it makes a lot of sense. and what do you think? And then they look at it and they call Korea and do what they have to do. And like we said, if it makes sense, we definitely want to make it happen.
Awesome. Yeah, I know. I mean, you guys have always been receptive to that, so that's great. I know one of those trade show examples. I remember. I think we were in New Orleans at the ATMIA, and there's a handful of us. I don't know who we were talking to, but we were like, we need to do the change of denomination on dual cassettes, and
Oh yeah,
like that came out like 2 months later. It was basically out, so
yeah,
it was good.
yeah,
So,
for sure.
um,
And that just goes to say that I think Genmega is we try to be lean and mean, and I think Sean has been out to Dallas and has seen the operation. And I think some people have an idea of this like big corporate building, big shiny nice mega corporation, and that's not what we are at all. So I would invite those who if you spend any time in Dallas, I mean we're definitely open to it. If you want to come by and just take a look around, I think that would help people understand how we work. Like we don't have this giant sales staff. It's myself on retail ATMs and it's Wes on self-service kiosk. And so we are pretty lean, and there are pluses and minuses to that, but a huge plus is that we have our CEO's ear, and if there's an idea or a suggestion or something we need to fix, we can get that to him very quickly and very efficiently to take care of anything that you guys need. So that's what we try to do.
no, that's great. I guess next thing I know, there was one of the more current topics too would be the Gen RMS hack.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that I don't operate Gen RMS, so I don't know enough to really talk about it, obviously.
Right.
But just a little bit about it, I guess. And then is everything kind of good now? Have you guys made some changes already, or is stuff I'm assuming in the pipeline?
Yeah. That was scary to hear about, because when you started hearing about what was going on, you're like, what's happening? Is this a nationwide hack? Like what the heck is going on? So yeah, that was a scary thing to hear about. Even if you don't run RMS, like anything with security vulnerabilities, that's pretty terrifying to think about. But as it turns out, so the units that were affected were using wireless boxes. And then I don't really know the specifics on like the technical details on how the bad guys were able to get in there and have a simulator going and basically jackpot the machine. But the one bottleneck with the attack and the one common denominator, and this is not to victim blame, because I'm very empathetic to the people who were hit, and it's got to be awful, to go through that. But the one common denominator was the default passwords were not changed on the RMS. So it's not difficult to find out what default passwords are to whatever product it is out there. You can find default passwords out there on the internet in 5 minutes. So yeah, the default passwords were not changed. And as soon as they were changed, the attack stopped. So in the last 2 weeks, it's been very, very quiet. We haven't heard anything as far as new attacks, and it seems like everyone has updated their passwords off of default. So that's a very good thing. And then we are also working on an updated version of RMS that will close some of those vulnerabilities to allow people to do some of the things they did to make the attack actually take place. So we're definitely working on that, and it's been quiet. The FBI and Secret Service were involved, and I think Secret Service has probably bigger fish to fry at this point in time. But we did fully cooperate with any investigation, and basically just gave them the kitchen sink on everything they would need to investigate. So I don't know if anyone's been caught or if they have leads. But yeah, it seems like the attacks have gone away once the default passwords were changed, and then that new version of RMS should be coming out pretty soon with a few slight modifications.
Okay. So would that do one thing? Would that make the you're gonna force people to change default passwords and stuff, just like on the start of the machine, right? You got to change your master.
Yeah.
right away.
Uh,
So,
I don't know for a fact if that's going to be a requirement, but geez, that seems like the first thing you should do, right? So I'll check with John to see if that was updated. But yeah, I would think that'd be top priority to like you can't move forward unless these are changed.
yeah. So, but I mean, glad to hear it pretty much tamped down now, and
Yeah.
so that's good.
Yeah.
You guys' newest ATM, the Nova, it's big and bright and shiny.
Yeah.
And how are sales looking on that? I mean, is it kind of where you guys have been expecting? I mean, I know it's a higher price point, so obviously it's not going to move like a 2500 or an Onyx, but
Right.
are you guys seeing some good traction with that? I mean, I know the dual screen is a new concept. So
yeah, the Nova sales have been very good so far. Like you said, it'll never sell as much as the 2500 or Onyx, but it's been good, and I know we have quite a few out there in the field, and I know I've seen some photos in the Facebook group of Novas out there in the wild. So yeah, it's still relatively new. It's been a little over a year since they've been shipping. So again, any feedback out there, let me know. I think if there's any issues with a new product, that gets back to sales department fairly quickly. I know it'll hit tech support first, but if there's something going on, usually we have it reported. So yeah, the Nova's been fairly successful so far, but it's still relatively new. And like you said, it's not for every space, it's not for every location or every customer. And the interesting with the Nova is since the Nova has come out, Onyx sales have actually ticked up just slightly, because I think people see the price point on the Nova and they're like, oh, that's way too much. I'm not doing that. But then they look and they're like, well, the Onyx seems pretty reasonable. I'm going to go for the Onyx over the 2500. So that's been one interesting thing with the Nova since it's come out. But yeah, still relatively new, and we're pretty happy with the results so far.
Yeah. So the 2500, I mean, it's been out. I mean, that's your longest running machine right now. Are you guys planning on doing like a refresh or an update on it? Or, I mean, because again, I'm always like, well, for a couple hundred extra bucks, the Onyx is worth it,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, the 2500, geez, I mean, it looks like it was designed in 1999, so it's definitely a workhorse. But yeah, appearance wise, I think a refresh does make sense. I mean, that's something that's been brought up the past couple of years. If you ever make changes to your most popular product, people might say you're crazy, but I think, if you modernize that machine a little bit, people would be very receptive to that. But I guess some of the problems there would be molding and tooling, going with a slimmer plastic bezel, maybe a bigger screen or something different there. The costs to do that are quite significant. And so we try to keep our price down as much as possible. And 2500 is the affordable machine we have. So if we were to do that, how much would it raise the price of the machine? And then if you're looking at something that's competing with the Onyx, I don't know, but I think on the surface it makes a whole lot of sense. And from a sales side, I'd love to see a sleeker looking 2500. It'd be a lot easier to sell. If it looked like it was designed in the last 10 years. So.
Yeah. What about the I think I like that machine, the Onyx W.
Mm-hmm.
You guys sell a lot of those. It's just a nice design because it keeps with most of the regular Genmega components. So, if you have issues, you don't have to worry about like, oh, it's a special W part.
Right. Yeah. Onyx W, when we first released it, it was shocking how well received it was and how many machines we shipped. I think that exceeded expectations. And that just, to what you said, it goes to not really changing a whole lot, using as many of the exact same components that we already have. So I think the only thing that's different, really, it's the dispenser, the cassettes configured a little bit differently, and then I think the printer has a few unique components. But other than that, everything is exactly the same. So you know, having a new niche product that you can swap out parts here and there with standard machines, that's huge. And then the capacity, you know, having 1,000 notes on a machine that small is pretty great. So yeah, that's another one that has been a big hit for us. And you know, it just goes to show, like, we do try to put a lot of thought into new products and not sell things that aren't necessarily needed or wanted. So yeah, at the end of the day, I got to put out machines that work, and just we'll hammer out transactions. So try to keep things simple as we can.
You guys have anything in development now for a new ATM machine? You guys kind of just obviously know it's what, maybe a year old or
Yeah.
two. So, but anything kind of in the works, or you might not be able to discuss it, I guess.
No, if we had something in the works, I would definitely share that. I mean, anything we could promote or tease, I'd be all for that. But we don't at this time, with the Nova being so new and NFC still kind of getting off the ground. Right now, we're just staying the course. And we just, you know, with the Nova, we saw a need for a higher end machine that, you know, looked futuristic and looked updated and modern. You know, much nicer looking than a C6000. So we saw a need for that, and I just don't see I don't see a hole in our product lineup right now that the machine would fill. So as of now, we're just going to stay the course and keep doing what we're doing.
So, you guys, and I don't know how I mean, it's been a while now, but you guys started a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You guys do an awesome job on like showing all the different stuff. But you guys ever thought about, I think you guys used to have training classes. Any thought on bringing back a training class to get, people like us down in Dallas getting a couple day long training or anything?
Yeah. So yeah, before we moved everyone to Dallas, we had a guy named Sisto. I don't know if any of you remember Sisto, but he ended up not making the move. But he ran our training program there in California. So he didn't make the move, and then COVID happened, and we were like, I guess we can't have any training going on right now. And I think training is a great idea, and I think it would be wonderful to have people in and train on whatever they want for a couple of days. But I think right now it's a capacity issue where we have a relatively small tech support department, and so to have someone away from the phone lines, off of that team for a couple of days doing training, that would be tough. But I think in the long term, I think it makes a lot of sense, especially with kiosks, so many kiosks being out there. You have a lot of people who don't know anything about, Genmega hardware, but are working on our kiosks, that I think it'd be beneficial to have some training there. And then, like you said, people who are new to the industry, or just want to learn about something specific, like, dispenser repair or something like that. I think it does make sense. So, that's definitely on the radar. In the short term, I don't know that we have any plans to bring that back right now.
Okay.
But as we grow, and maybe as we're able to hire, a couple of extra people in tech support, I think then we'd be looking at a situation where, okay, we have the capacity to take that on now. So it's definitely possible, maybe in the next.
But again, I mean, I'd say like the YouTube tutorials and all that stuff. I mean, it's better than most. I know other ATM operators. I've done some. I mean, you guys put on a good production. Obviously, know what you're doing, so it's nice.
Yeah,
so I know we all appreciate that. I've shared videos to people that have a question, and it's like, oh, just check this out.
Yeah,
so it's a great resource.
And it's great. It's great from a sales side, like, a dumb sales guy like myself, you don't want to be taking all your technical knowledge from me. So when people come to me with technical questions, if I know that video exists, I can just easily take a couple screenshots from that and then send them the actual link, say, hey, this is how you do it. Like, someone, I think it was Friday, someone asked, I got my Gen Cam, but it wasn't turned on. I was like, well, you're going to need to enable that through the software settings. Here's the video of exactly how to do that. And it's just one-stop shop for technical issues. So, and if there's other things that are out there that you guys want to see videos on, shoot us a note, let us know, because I know we're eager to put more content on there. And John's ready to go if there's a process or procedure that you guys want to see. So we're absolutely open to that.
Awesome. I think Johnny had something here.
Okay.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. I don't know if I can share my screen, but so recently I started I had a bunch of people that owed me money, and processor guys that just wouldn't pay their invoices and stuff. So they just started giving me some of their machines,
Right.
used beat up machines, and we started painting them, and David Madrano, I'm sure you guys all know him. He came in and flew in. I flew him out here to help teach our whole team how to paint them, and they look really, really nice. And so I kind of joked, and I call them the 2750, instead of the G3000, it's like a 2500 with a black bezel, all nice. I just feel from a manufacturer's perspective, would you guys ever be interested in making machines with different bezel colors? Because we paint them and we do a pretty good job, but it's nothing coming off of the line like that. And I feel that wouldn't actually cause you guys or force you guys to create new molds. And it could give this little refresh look, if you will. And some places want them all white. Some people want them blue. Maybe it would be 125 to 250 bucks, upgrade cost, for the custom color. I was just curious what you guys thought about that.
It's a good idea. Gianni, I can't share screen because I'm on my phone. Can you just throw a couple of the images in the chat?
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
Yeah,
just give me a sec, because I'm on with my phone and my computer, and my monitors keep switching back and forth from turning on and off. It's a weird Mac lit. So I think I'm almost there. I'm just rejoining, and I'll share it right here. Let's see here. Host has disabled screen sharing. So let me just send it in the chat like you said.
But I mean, yeah, it definitely seems like it would be more inexpensive.
It won't let me do it.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think, yeah, to Gianni's point, it's not going to require any new molding or tooling. You're just talking about, I don't know, a different color plastic. So essentially you use the same plastic, but they inject some type of dye or just use a different version of that plastic. So yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea at all. I mean, I would like to see something like that. I think it'd be cool. And it's just another thing for someone in sales to be able to promote. So yeah, I think it's good. And I can check with CK and those guys and be like, how difficult would that actually be?
I just finally sent the picture there. That's one. That's a C4000. That's old school.
And it looks. I mean, it just looks that much newer. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I think we're almost done here with all my questions, and we'll probably open it up. What's your guys' market share in the retail U.S. ATM industry? I don't know if you guys even know that exactly, because obviously I don't know if everybody discloses that, but
yeah, that's always a tough one. I think that upper management is well aware what the market share is. I think that's something they wouldn't want me disclosing. And to be honest, I don't know. I do know, I think we're in a pretty good spot. I think we've come a long way. And if I had to guess, I don't know if I would even want to, but it might be something we could discuss at a trade show if you guys wanted to come up. But
give you a beer and get you to say it.
Yeah. A couple of old fashions, man. The information just starts flying. It's amazing. So yeah, I think we're in a really good spot. That's where I'll leave it for sure. But yeah, if like I said, I hope everybody's coming out to NAC and come by the booth and let's talk, and maybe I could paint a little better picture for you.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like you guys have definitely probably over the last 3-4 years even just been creeping up, and more and more, where it's pretty much, to me, it's almost like 50-50, with then the smaller guys kind of just down there. So
yeah, I think that's very fair to say.
So, well, I want to open it up to the floor now, and we're gonna get some people in here and
Yeah.
see what they have. If you got a bit. So
Cool.
Jacob, I think I just put you
Yeah.
on here.
Yeah, I got a quick question real quick. Yeah, so I was wondering if you guys are currently looking to hire more tech roles or if that's more of an idea for the future. I know you had mentioned that briefly.
Yeah. Right now, I don't know. I mean, I think, we have, 4 guys in tech support right now.
Okay.
So as we grow, it's just a fact that we're going to need more. I don't know if we're looking to, before end of year or if it's going to be next year, but I would imagine at some point we'd have to. As our market share grows and as time goes on, more orders, more machines, more parts orders. So yeah, we're going to need, guys on those phone lines and help out. So I to be honest with you, I don't know if we are right now. As a matter of fact, I don't think we are right now. Probably not through the end of the year, but yeah, I think at some point we will need to. So
All right, cool.
that's not a great answer. It's kind of
No,
all
it's
over
all right.
the
It's
place,
all right.
but I think that's where we're at.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think Shyam had another thing here.
Sean, what's
So,
going on?
so you know how if a car manufacturer stop manufacturing a vehicle by a certain year, as per obviously the law, they have to maintain the parts and provide parts, etc., for a decade since
Right.
then, right? Specifically, where you folks are concerned, obviously there's no per se law required, but is there kind of a rule of thumb that you folks run by that, for example, I just 2 days ago or 2 nights ago, I put together a 2007 C4000
Yeah.
where I had to kind of pull parts from different machines and put it together, right? But in terms of some basic parts, like we reach out to the community and see if anybody has these parts, be it brackets, things like that. Do you guys have like something that you guys kind of use as a rule of thumb, saying, okay, even though we've discontinued this machine for the next 3 years, 5 years, we will make these parts available for purchase?
Yeah, I think 5 years is a good outlook. If you're going to retire a machine, you would expect it to have been in service over 10 years at a minimum. So
Right.
I would expect an additional 5 years of life. And I got to tip my cap to you on your ability to bring machines back from the dead. It's unbelievable.
I mean, honestly, I had a C4000 that
Yeah.
I bought from somebody for like $300. Brought it over, put a safe from a different C4000 that been sitting in my garage for a year, and then had to put a ACU6 board on there. It's been a lot of work, to say the least. I landed up with some extra parts, so I shared that off, and I said, it's no use to me. I passed them on to somebody else, and I already see him use the printer specifically. Like, why I brag about using Genmega because the reverse compatibility. But that being said, again, going back to the day you stop manufacturing this, as of right now, do you have a specific number of years that for the next 5 years you'll be able to buy parts from Genmega?
We don't. There's not a specific timeline we have for, we will, if we discontinue the T4000, we're gonna have parts for 5 years. The goal is to support the machines and to take care of the customers, and we don't want to discontinue a machine and then a year later not have the parts to support. So I don't know that we have a specific time frame, but if you discontinue a machine and you do that, you're just going to be causing headaches for yourself and your customer base. So we don't want to do that. And I think maybe each machine might be different, but with the T4000, yeah, I would expect to have parts for 5 years for that machine. So yeah, I don't, to be honest, there's not a specific timeline we have, or there's not a rule book on that, but we try to do it in a customer friendly way.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Oh, you got it
Yeah.
anytime.
Anyone else have some questions here or comments, or
There's Jeff.
you know, you can. Jeff, he's raising his hand the old school way. I'll let him on 1 sec here. All right, Jeff.
Yeah, so first I want to say thank you guys, because like your willingness and John's and John specifically to like answer questions in an efficient and just giving you the answers, you know, to the issues that go on is incredible. It makes it a lot easier to operate, and you've got to be somewhat proficient in preparing these things yourself if you want to be viable. But listening to some of the things that people are saying here about like piecing machines together and then making, you know, creating new things with different colors. And I've pieced some machines together myself. Like I've been in the game long enough that the first 2 machines that I bought were standard 1700s. And have you ever thought about making a kit that is a 2500 top bezel, lower bezel, and screen? Because I have a lot of 1700Ws out there, and the reality is I'm not really going to replace them because the guts are all the same.
Yeah.
But if I could refresh it for a few $100, it also gets the Hantel and the Tranax name off of everything. So, you know, someone that's thinking about getting in the business now sees Genmega, and it would really, you know, for the location owner, they'd think maybe they have a new machine. I think that could really easily be done.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, we used to have our shell program, which is almost the same thing you're talking about, where you just basically get the ATM without the dispenser, and then you could put your old dispenser from your old machine in the brand new ATM. So this would maybe be some type of version of that. I don't know what that would look like from an inventory standpoint, but I think it makes a lot of sense. And if it's something that we could do affordably, of course. So yeah, it makes sense on paper. It's just whether, you know, our CEO in the factory in Korea would say, okay, I think we're going to sell enough of these to where it makes sense. And then, to be honest, the guys in Korea might look at it and be like, well, if we do this, it's going to eat into the new sales, you know, and that's kind of the way they think.
I get that.
But I do think it's a good idea, and it makes a lot of sense. And if you have machines out there where the guts are good, but the outside's beat up and scratched up and is weathered, then an easy swap like that. And I think that's good for everybody. So that makes sense. And of course, you know, I will take a note of that, and, you know, echo that as well. And then if you come out to NAC or any of the trade shows, definitely come up to the booth and we could rehash that conversation, you know, with our CEO in the booth right there, and our engineers as well, and just say, hey man, this is what people are asking for. Is it something, you know, we could look at? Because hearing it from me is one thing, but when they keep hearing it from all of our customers, you know, that's another thing.
Right.
Yeah. No,
yeah,
that's
no,
a good idea.
I get it hurting the sales.
Yeah, well, but
but the reality is I'm not going to replace it if I'm not going to replace the machine if it's working good. But like I said, I might refresh its appearance for a few $100.
Exactly. So it's like, hey, this technically is a new sale, you know? So yeah, I like it. I do.
Where do we get Genmega swag from?
That's a very good question. That is a very good question.
That needs to be the next thing at the trade show. You guys need some good stuff here. I think there's a few companies in the ATM industry that do a real good job on giving out stuff. And
yeah,
I swear I always see people wearing their sweatshirts or hats or socks and stuff. You guys need it. I'm helping on marketing for you here.
You really are, man. You're a Genmega marketing team honoree. I know it'd be cool to see a poll in the group or just among friends of like, what are the top swag items people want? Because, you know, they'll ask like, we tried to do stickers one year and ended up not doing it. And it's like, all right, what are people going to use and what do they want? So like shirts are great. Obviously hats are great, but yeah, it'd be neat to hear some feedback on like what items actually would be cool, because
Yeah.
I would love to be the guy walking around handing out swag at the trade show. I would love to do that. So yeah, I think
we can get
haven't. Go ahead.
We can get a poll. We
Yeah.
can get a poll going for you. I think I'd like to know that too, because I give some stuff out to people, and sometimes I'm like, well, I don't know if they like it or not.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure. You want it to be, items people are going to use, whether it's, something they can put on their desk or something that's maybe useful in the field. I don't know, but I push for that. I know Wes pushes for that hard. It's just getting the guys up top to say, okay, we're going to go with this. So just trust me that I am trying and will continue to try. And I will let them know that, hey, that was one of the biggest items in this discussion, is that people want their swag. Let's get our priorities straight here.
yeah. No, I mean I'm wearing a hat right now. So
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's probably a few other people wearing one. So
For sure.
I know Anthony Burke had something. I don't know where he's at here.
Yeah, where's Anthony Bird?
You've been really quiet. Too quiet for him.
I know. I thought I'd be getting it from all angles from him, man.
He's been behaving himself, I guess.
Yeah.
Very busy these days, and I send him direct emails instead.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, Scott,
You know if there's something going on, you can call me, man. It's no problem.
I know. Tell Dave that if you've been looking in the group, you see us talk, and I guess you've seen my comments. But tell Dave before he gets some swag, he has to fully come over to the other side. Like he made a point about a month ago to tell me he bought a bunch of Genmega machines, and I was very proud. I was very proud to hear him tell me this.
I know.
I got another brand new one sitting right there, ready to go.
Oh,
Good job. And the answer to, are you at B-Dog? Where are you at?
No, I'm at just a little corner tavern.
The answer to the person that asked if they're going to hire more techs, I don't think they need it, because number one, you hardly ever have to call them, and number two, when you do call them, it's usually a minute or less wait. So that should have been your answer, Scott.
That's, like I said, man, you like at trade shows, wherever it is, like you just do my job for me. So
I know.
Thank you very much.
Believe me, there's a lot of people like Anthony too that rep you guys to the fullest. So it should be it's obviously a testament to the product. So
yeah. I think it
Hey, I
is.
got an idea. I got a really good idea. I would actually pay for these. Okay. So I'm in an entrepreneur group, and one of the smartest things someone came up with is like, they literally get Lululemon, like shirts, which are really comfortable when it's hot, you're out loading all day. And they just get them embroidered with their logo on it, and it's like, now it's a tax write-off, right? Because it's a uniform. So like Genmega, Lululemon, I'm all over it. Like, give them away to me, but I'll also buy them personally.
Yeah.
And like, I kind of like my technicians driving around like without my logo on it, right? Because some of us have the word cash in it or ATM, and so like that's kind of like, but like Genmega, it's cool and it looks official when you're in there like servicing a machine. I think like Lululemon tees would be really nice, and maybe you can put like a little, like, this is just a joke and don't really do it, but like the force is not with you, join the may the force not be with you. No, but like
no.
But yeah, just like, I think just Genmega Lululemons, man, and like these like kind of like these lighter like running like moisture wicking hats, because like we're all in the field and the world is not getting any cooler, believe it or not. Like, it's just like, even if global warming is not true, we're in like a period of time where things are hotter and it's just fucking really hot. And it's hard to get comfortable like gear. Like DPL has some cool hats and stuff, but they're hot. They're like regular trucker hats. They're not like these little, like, I don't know. So that just might make people love the brand more.
No,
if they have good swag. I think it's a good idea.
That's a great idea. It's useful, and it's something, it's like, you know, if you get some generic T-shirt from the trade show and it's some Fruit of the Loom shirt that's falling apart after a couple washes, there's no use in that. But if it's literally something that could be used in the field and it's like, well, I'm going to wear this because it's extremely comfortable, light, and cool, and it just happens to have our brand on it, that makes a whole lot of sense. So yeah, I think I'm gonna next time CK's out for beers, man, I'm coming to him with all of this stuff, man. I'm gonna get him to sign something that says he's gonna do it.
I just remember I'm a medium, dude. I'm a medium. All right.
Yeah. We'll have that special sizing because I know my awkward height requires some special sizing too. So yeah, we can make accommodations there.
Yeah. What anyone else here got any questions for Scott here before we there's like a raise a hand button, but people just keep going instead, raising their hand.
It's
like
hard
it's
to
supposed to be.
Maybe people on their phones don't see it or something.
Okay. I found a few. So Jason, if you want to get going.
Yeah, mine's more of a like a parts question. I'm recently converted all Genmega. I got 81 machines. I got rid of my last 12 Hyosons. I got 2 Hyosons left, but I'm in the process of going 100%. But so I bought a lot of Onyxes new. Like I think I have 55 of them, and some of the older ones, starting in 2016, some of the older ones have that burnt out screen that you're probably aware of.
Oh yeah.
Not the biggest deal. I believe you guys have fixed it. I haven't bought too many in the last couple of years, but the other issue I've noticed with the machine is the LED light on top that says ATM, and then the side buttons. Those are very frequently going out now.
Really?
And yes, I even have an April 2022 machine where the LED light is completely gone. I got a couple where 2 letters are out. I got one that's flickering. So my concern from someone who is heavy into the Onyx, the buttons on the side, they're $30 each side, $35 for the top. That's $100 per machine to make it look good again. I mean, is it a big deal? Not really, but I was wondering if there's a way to kind of approach the parts department, see if there's a way to bring that price down, just because that's more of an appearance thing that kind of speaks to the Genmega brand, because I think it's in your interest to keep them looking nice.
Yeah.
And if people are going out there saying, oh, look at those Onyxes, all the lights are out. Because I have some old, 12-year-old 2700s.
Yeah.
Well, I just sold them, but all the lights were still pristine on them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, well, if Hyosung could get them going, I'm like, why can't the Onyx be? So I thought I'd bring, I'd like to address that other than just like calling you guys out of the blue one day and then it just getting tossed aside.
No, that's very fair. And at the end of the day, an LED is an LED. LEDs are supposed to be lasting 10 plus years at a minimum.
Yeah. And it's a little bitter to pay $40 for one when you're like, this is a $5 part.
Yeah, exactly. So parts department, one thing about us, our parts department, they're not exactly customer facing. That's the one way. So I guess long story short, give me a call. Like if you have a pen and a paper, I can take down your email right now. I'll work with you, man. I'll do everything I can. And that's one thing about Genmega. Like if there's an issue, we will work with you, and I can help you out in the situation for sure. So
that'd be great. Yeah, it's simple. It's just bostonatm.com at gmail.com. So Boston, like the city, ATM at gmail.com.
I don't know if I'm gonna help you now. I'm a Dallas Mavericks fan, so I'm a little sensitive.
Tough. I should have asked you 3 months ago.
Tough L, yeah. No. The Celtics were a better team. There's no debate. So
that was a tough challenge.
You lose to a better team, it is what it is. So I'm taking a note right here. And what I'll do actually preemptively, I'm just gonna send you an email after the call.
Okay.
And so you'll have my information. Then on Monday when we get back to the office, we'll talk about it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just I know they're kind of obscure parts, but I just had to order a bunch, and I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt to order, 30 more."
Completely understand. We'll look at it, man.
Okay, and speaking of that, Scott, too, do you mind if or could you post, or or you mind if we post maybe your contact info either in the chat here, or like we're gonna post up the call and everything. If we put it on there on the group, is that okay? I don't want to.
Yeah.
I only want to give out what you really want out there. So
yeah, it's no problem. I mean, simply put, my email is just sweaver@Genmega, so SWEAVER. So yeah, I mean, feel free to post my email. I'm at extension 203. One thing about my job though, I mean, I'm very responsive to email. Most of the time on phone, you can get me, but there are times where I'm back, I'm in a meeting, or I'm back in the parts department, or I'm out in the warehouse doing something. So I go back and forth from the desk quite a bit. So if you call and you don't get me, maybe there could be some lag time. And to be quite honest, when someone calls the sales line, a lot of times it ends up at my desk. So the phone is just going all day, and I have to do the best I can to get back to people and to answer the phone. But a lot of times email is a bit more efficient. And then we also just have a bit of a paper trail, and it's all very clear of what's being asked. And that's probably the better way to help somebody out.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know the Obi or Gianni, there were a couple other people.
Yeah, I had another quick one, really quick. This is just something, and like, dude, Scott, I know I have your email on your phone and all that stuff, but like, it's kind of cool in the forum. I just see what other people think. I have had a lot of trouble specifically with Triton machines, okay? And I'm like, can you guys just FaceTime me? And they're like, no, we don't have FaceTime support. I think it'd be like a huge like competitive advantage if you guys could have like some type of way to FaceTime. When you're trying to fix a dispenser, and you're like, oh, like go up 2 inches vertically and to the right horizontally, and like the CS31 sensor, it's like, if you guys could FaceTime or had like a way to FaceTime with people, and maybe you have to set up an appointment so it's like not overwhelming.
Right.
I think you guys might be able to help us learn how to service ourselves better and reduce overall call volume.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. And I think the way it would work is either have like a designated tech support, iPad or iPhone or something with like WhatsApp or something like that, like a tech support WhatsApp thing, to where if you're on a call and I need some visuals here, where, okay, just call this on WhatsApp. Let's pop on this thing real quick. It'll be a minute. You'll see what you got to see. And then, everyone can keep moving. So yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah, I just had I remember when I started the business, I was like binding keys over the phone with somebody before FaceTime existed. It was just like unbelievably difficult. And we had to repeat the top row twice, and then you time out. It was just like, but like it's actually a lot easier to be in the ATM business these days because of FaceTime. And I FaceTime with my techs and customers all the time. So I think that'd be really cool if you could do that.
Yeah, I hear that. I think that's good. I think we've talked about it at some point in the past, but again, like John's the guy, but I'll pass that around, and it just makes a lot of sense,
I had one last question too. I hopped in a little late.
Yeah.
Over when the topic was paint for 1700s, and then and moved into, well, that could affect sales for new machines. My question actually had to do with just paint codes for existing machines when we want to refurbish that. I'm not sure if those codes are available, but I would say if you are going to think of getting G2500s in different fascia colors, deploy the whole color scheme at once. Available in colors now for 1700 fascias and G2500 fascias with colors.
Yeah.
I buy used machines. I don't really buy new ones. So my fleet is across the board between Hio and Genmega. But when you get these banged up machines, it's nice to know if there's an actual pin code available to the public where we can spruce them up. We're talking about appearances here, so we I'd love if that's available. That'd be cool, along with the fascias. I think that would be a plus there.
Yeah, for sure. And to go back to the hurt sales thing, that's not my personal feeling. I think that's probably the way the people in Korea who are in the factory, who have to green light decisions. That's probably the way they think. I, from a sales side, think that would be pretty cool. But in regards to the paint tone color, so like the body of the ATM itself, the Pantone paint color, that is 425C. So if you go to a paint shop and get 425C, it will match that gray on the body of the machine. Now for the bezel, I don't know what type of paint is compatible or if that color is the same. I honestly don't. But yeah, it would be nice to maybe have something on the website if we looked at, hey, here are the types of paint that will work. Here's what's compatible. Here's what people have done in the past. I think that would help people, brighten up their machines where need be.
Yeah, I think that would go a long way towards, getting that longevity, that reputation you guys have for longevity, just make it that much more, solidified. The type of paint is not so critical for me as much as just the color code, for just touch up,
Yeah.
Just for it to match, I'll touch it up multiple times if it's not the right type of paint, but just having those codes, I think, will go a long way. That's pretty much it for me on the color topic.
Yeah. Well, the body paint is 425C. That's the code. If you go to the paint shop, they should be able to match that. But
it's the bezel code that I really want.
The bezel's the one. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's the killer. That's the one people see. That's the one that pops out the most, or could be most of the eyesore, just in terms of from an aesthetic standpoint. Yeah, that's the code. That's the code I think would be great to have. My point of view.
Yeah, that makes way more sense. Anyways, people are touching the bezels. That's what's getting rubbed there. So a lot of people aren't touching or scraping the body of the ATM really. So yeah, bezel code that makes way more sense. So that's another one we'll see what we can come up with.
Yeah, if they roll out the whole color palette, they just do it all at once.
Yeah,
I think Gianni
for all models.
Gianni just shared it. Mushasho, it's 428C is the bezel.
I have all the
On a
colors.
1700.
Okay, yeah. I see a code here. Yeah, I see a chart. Yeah, 428. There we go.
Okay.
All right. So this was done in this was done aftermarket. This is not from Genmega. This is just somebody who went out and matched it up, I guess, huh?
I don't know.
No.
I'm assuming he got it from Genmega. It looks like probably. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, that takes care of that. Thank you.
Good.
Cool. Yeah. Anytime.
I know Anthony had something here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was just about to upload the same thing. I have all the color charts for you if you need them emailed. But the FaceTime.
I was gonna charge a $3 convenience fee to send the color codes, but I knew 3%. Anthony was gonna have 3%.
I just had to send it to someone the other day. But yeah, that chart is from Genmega, so those are the real colors. Now, spray painting is a lot easier to do to the bezel, so it shouldn't really matter what color you pick, just the whole thing, mark it off and paint it. And then the metal, honestly, just get a metal paintable little quart and roll it on. It looks the best. But anyways, that is something that I have been wanting to talk to them about as well, like a video call to help people. I do it all the time. Like I helped someone today, like to walk someone through fixing a dispenser, like it was a Hyosung, of course, and that had an issue, and it was a CS4 sensor, and like to try to tell someone over the phone where something is or how to look for and the little white thing, like it's almost impossible. But if you can video call someone, I mean, it's amazing. And then the other thing, or if you can get that going, that would be awesome. And the other thing is maybe you can do like once a month live tech support video call, teach people the little things like how to clean a sensor, where to look for the sensors. Like here's a rear sensor, here's a sensor, blow it out here. But also I don't know if you have it on the YouTube, like someone was saying, but Hyosung, or I think it was actually Next ATM, or you know, did it years ago. They actually had a really cool video that pointed out where all the sensors are, because when you have an issue, people don't know how to find the sensors,
Right.
and that would be awesome to be able to share that to someone. Like, here's this sensor. You know, not taking 10 minutes for them to figure out where that.
Right. Yeah.
Have you seen uh, the ATM equipment that they put out years ago?
I've not seen that. I'd love to see it.
It's like it's computer. Turn the whole. They'll turn the whole.
Yeah. No, because it was worse because he was like, that's their bartender. You know?
We're losing you, Anthony.
All right, there's a video. There's a video that they put out that they take the whole dispenser, spin it around, and show all the sensors.
Ah, okay. Okay.
I'll send it. I'll find it to you and send it.
Okay. Perfect.
I think Vinny had something here he wanted to.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
Vinny,
can
where
you guys
you
hear
at?
me?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I've been following Genmega since I was like a little kid. When you guys were in Milpitas and then Hayward, and now you're in Texas.
Yes, sir.
The question I was gonna ask was like, so I take a lot of old parts like off a 1700W, and I could put it on the, all the way up to the 2024, Genmega. Do you guys plan on ever like re-enhancing any of the parts inside where we're not going to be able to use old parts? Because I know on what was it, like 8 years ago they had the dispenser with 4 belts on it on top. Now it has 2. So do you guys plan on doing anything like significant, or you plan on just keeping everything the way it is for the time being?
My understanding is we will keep it exactly the same as it has been in the past. We don't want to cause a bunch of issues for everyone with compatibility. And one of the big, sales point with Genmega, not only on the people side with the people that work at Genmega, but the parts and components, we want those to be consistent as well. So one of the advantages of the brand is to be able to swap parts in and out, and we don't want to change a bunch of stuff up. And I feel like if we did that, it'd go directly against the brand and probably make a lot of people unhappy who have been loyal to us for a lot of years. So I don't want to see it happen, and that's not our goal. I know maybe sometimes with one specific component here or there, it might be tough to avoid, but the main goal is to keep everything consistent across the product line. So I would be shocked if we did that.
Cool. And then one more question I was going to ask was, are you guys going to come out with like a version 2 for the tap to pay where it's more flush? I know like this is the first batch that's going out, and even on the Onyx, it looks good, but it doesn't look like it's like legit, if you know what I mean. If someone goes up and uses it, they're not sure. So are you going to come out with like a more flush version of that?
Yeah, that's a very fair point. Like the customer could walk up and be like, is this, you'll see those, you'll see in the field, I forget what they're called, the little people at the gas station will put over the card reader to read your card. Like, did this come with the machine, or did someone just like throw this on? What's actually going on here? So yeah, the idea to make it integrated in the bezel somehow or something like that for customer confidence and just to make it, a lot more seamless. I think that does make sense. So yeah, this iteration of NFC, I wouldn't be surprised if that changed sometimes down the line to make things more efficient and make things look and feel a lot better. So yeah, point taken, definitely there. And we were talking a little bit earlier on the call that like it is still very early in the NFC game. So I think as times goes on, we'll get better and get more efficient. And yeah, that's a very good point. That a customer may walk up to the machine and question the reader. So we want to make sure it looks flush and looks like it's part of the machine.
Yeah, I have another question. Am I still unmuted?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I've always boosted that I can take part from 20 years ago, like a dispenser, printer, power supply, use it in a machine today. I thought I brought it up before, but why did you guys change the and not that I think it's what the force that you guys changed the key and like we'll send someone to a service call and they're like, dude, there's not that the machines out there. So why did you do that and can you change it back?
Can you
the
say
Onyx?
yeah. Can you say that again? You cut out for a minute. Definitely not trying to dodge the question, but if you could repeat, that'd be great.
What's the machine? It's not the Onyx. What's the machine that you guys changed the key for the bezel?
The teeth for the bezel?
The key.
Oh, the key. The 25. Oh, are you talking about just like the key that looks different? It has like the silver Genmega tab on it now?
No, it's like it's different. You have to have a new key for it.
It's
The Nova? The Nova.
The Nova, yeah.
That's what I meant, the Nova. So
Yeah.
sometimes, is there any way to revert back to the old key because we send people out for a service call and they can't get in it?
Right. I think if you order a Nova and ask us to swap that out, I can see. I don't know if the hole that's cut, if it matches exactly the same or not. But if it's something we can do and you request that, I'll do everything I can to get that done for you. I know it's a pain in the ass to have to do that on every Nova, but
No, it's not me that needs when people go out to service calls.
Yeah.
Because there's not that many of them out there, so it kind of costs the you guys change the key.
Yeah, that's definitely a fair point. Yeah, I'll check with the guys and see because that makes sense. You don't want people showing up at your machine and not being able to get in.
It's happened
Or
already.
Yeah.
Or give away Nova keys at NAC coming up here.
Ooh.
That way everybody grabs one and throws it on the keychain.
That's actually that's the type of swag we need.
And that's cheap.
Along with the little thing that goes to the belt, trackable thing that says Genmega with the key.
That's okay. Belt.
And a pocket protector to go along with it.
Pocket protector. That's right.
Now we're going too far.
And for Sean's machine at his nail salon, a pair of needle nose pliers on a chain that he can fasten to the machine.
Yeah, that's what a lot of these guys with nail salons do. They have little tweezers and a little chain attached to it. So
okay.
What does anyone else have any more questions or comments or anything? I don't want to keep Scott or anybody too late here on Saturday.
John's got the thing. I got all the time, man. There's no rush. I'm hanging out, so no worries.
Yeah. Well, you got to be careful. We had one of these calls one day, and it went 10 hours. So.
Oh, okay, I'm out of here then. Yeah.
But is anyone? No one's raising their hand, at least electronically. Oh, Jason. All right.
So my question's about the price of the NFC reader.
Yeah.
How did the 450 price come about? Or
Yes.
with the kit?
Yeah. So you're talking about the more expensive G2500 price.
On it. Well, yeah, because I would like to add the NFC reader to all my cash only locations and my high volume, gas stations, whatnot. But 450. I think I got it from a Genmega dealer. I think it was 450 or 435 a pop, whatever it was. Yeah, that's just a little steep, to be getting 30 or 40 of them.
Yeah.
As to know if there's any way to get that price point down, like 25, 35%, just to make it a little bit more reasonable to do a bulk upgrade. Yeah. I mean, I know 30 is not very much bulk, but it is for me.
Hey, 30's 30, And,
Yep.
I think, with parts pricing, if you're trying to get the price down, bulk is the way to go. And if you're looking at an order of that size, again, like when I email you, we can definitely talk. Mm-hmm. And that's just something we take on case by case basis. Hey, someone wants 50 keypads or someone wants, 100 car, whatever it may be. I can talk to our CEO and I'll throw something out there and we'll go back and forth a little bit, but we could probably get something improved.
Because definitely in the cash only situations, where the business relies on that ATM, that ATM is God in there. And if that card reader goes down on a Saturday morning, 8 a.m., I'm still kind of sleeping. I'm 35 minutes away. Maybe I don't have a backup card reader and I don't have the cleaners handy. That NFC as a backup is like definitely I see it as job security because if the business never sees the ATM go down, they never consider credit cards. So
fair.
And in the future, I'm hoping Apple Pay kind of works. I'm a payment alliance guy.
Yeah.
So I'm like urgently waiting for them to get the reader going with their network. But because Apple, the phone tap is going to be huge. I think.
Yeah.
Especially among the younger population, they don't even have credit cards sometimes.
No.
So
kids these days.
Yeah, they just leave with just the phone.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, buddy.
Oh, I had a quick question.
We'll talk.
Folks out there, talk about swag from Genmega. Talk to the answer to you.
All right, Vinny, go ahead.
I had a quick question. What have you heard about PCI? Because we still don't know. And I like how you made the new D5 keypad where you remove it if you forget your password. You can reset it. On iOS, if you don't know your password, you're screwed. You gotta send it in for repair. That's what me and my house guys always fight about. House Genmega lovers.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, they're like security. I'm like, hey, Genmega cares about us. They don't want us to spend money.
Yeah. We don't want you to. We don't want to hose you over on stuff like that. Just there's a question more about like what's actually going to happen with it, or as far as like what pin pads are compatible, etc.
I think he's probably wondering if you know what what the PCI situation is, which obviously I think none of us.
The PCI situation's going on because no one's saying anything about it, and still
it's kind of weird that at this point it still seems vague. I know there was a post in the group where someone summarized what happened, what the summary was from PAI, from the PAI conference, and I'd say that's very accurate. What that post was, I forgot who posted it. It's in there, but yeah, to me it still sounds kind of vague.
It keeps on snapping out of it.
It's going to get to the end of the year, and our machine's going to be turned off. Are they going to? What's actually going to go down with it? And to me, it still sounds vague. So I don't know. I don't have a lot of insight on that. But my last big update, I'd say that the post in the group about the PAI update from the PAI conference, that's pretty accurate. So sorry to give a non-answer. I gotta plug this in. Non-answer.
No, I was just wondering because a lot of people are trying to push and sell their keypads. Like, I think Ocean ATM was like, "Hey, you want keypads? You want keypads? Buy more, buy 50, buy 100." I'm like, dude, I don't need any keypads, but I mean, maybe they over-ordered too many. I don't know. That's what
you see a lot of people at the beginning of the year that spend a lot of money upgrading their machines, and then you saw people start to say, well, maybe this isn't going to be enforced in such a quick way, or maybe it's going to be pushed back a little bit. So, I mean, while it's still great, I don't see a situation where we're going to run out of keypads. Okay, so a lot of people worried about, okay, we're going to get to the end of the year, and they're going to say, hey, we're turning off machines on January 1st, and then there's a big rush for keypads and we're out of inventory. I don't see a situation where we're going to be out of inventory. Our inventory is pretty well stocked right now.
You know why I think they think that is when the KYT card readers with the EMV came out.
Yeah,
everybody was out of out of card readers.
Yeah.
So people were just turning off their machines because they were getting chargebacks. So they're thinking that's going to happen. Something like that's going to happen again, where they're not able to find the parts.
Yeah, I understand that for sure. And I mean, I don't know if there's concerns, like let's check in every month or two and let's monitor the inventory level as we get closer to the end of the year, and we can, be transparent about where we are. And there's no reason to be vague about how much we have in stock. I mean, ultimately it'll be, your decision whether you want to upgrade it or not. But if there's not a threat of running out of keypads, then that decision shouldn't be rushed.
And then Well, last thing I was gonna ask is, tap to pay gonna eventually just start coming standard with the machines instead of being an add-on? Because eventually everyone's just gonna want it, you know. So
Yeah.
instead of just adding it on, it'll just be like standard option on the machine.
Yeah, I'd be a fan of the Gen Cam model where it was an upgrade at first and you know it was rolling out, people were buying it, they loved it, and then ultimately we were just like, we're just going to ship it with every machine now. So I would love to see that at some point. I don't know if that's in the works, you know, like we were just talking about the $450 price point. That's a lot. So you know, sometime down the line, I think that'd be a great selling point. So on the sales side, I'm open to it. Can't say if there's plans for it right now, but I think that'd be awesome. I think that'd be a huge selling point for our hardware. So yeah, that's definitely on the radar.
I'm just going to make a comment with respect to NFC,
Hmm?
and I think Scott made a really good point. This is exactly the point I make with customers. It's like if somebody goes and they have both the debit card in their wallet and they have it loaded onto their Apple Wallet or their wallet on their phone, and they try, and the processor just doesn't take that issuing bank or network yet, and they fail, they may walk away and they'll never use that machine again. And I tell this to people too, like about 99% uptime. If someone has a bad experience at your ATM one time, you didn't just lose one transaction. That guy might have been using your machine twice a month for a year. You lost 24 transactions. So I'm a little hesitant. I think about 15 of them. I got a couple Novas with them on them already. But yeah, like I think that's really, personally for me, I'm not going to really go crazy on it until it's totally certified. And then just one thing where you were saying, Vinny, about like the skimming and stuff like that and how it's not flush. If you know how NFC technology works, it's tokenized and encrypted. So it cannot be lifted and it changes every single time. So it's dynamic. So like, but that's something we have to educate consumers on, obviously. So I just a little note on NFC.
Yeah, that's the great point. It's like it's hard to quantify how many transactions did you lose because you had a denied transaction at the location, where if that card reader, the NFC reader wasn't there, they probably just would have used their card and done a normal transaction. So yeah, that's why we try to just be careful about pushing too hard and getting out ahead of ourselves with NFC until, you know, everything's certified and we can feel confident putting them on machines and knowing they'll work for all of the customers. So the people that have them like them, but at the same time, we don't want to be selling people hardware when it's not going to work or it's just going to cause problems for them at the location.
Anyone else here got any questions, or are we gonna call her a day now and email Scott like crazy after this?
I'll be ready to get hit with those emails. I'll be prepared. I'll get to bed early on Sunday, be fully rested and ready to go for Monday morning.
No, I just, again, I want to say thank you, Scott. I think it's awesome you were able to come on. Hopefully you got a few things to bring back to the Genmega team. And again, like I said, don't be a stranger in the group. You know, if you see something either we're saying wrong or just you want to just say hi, just go ahead and do it. And you know, we all appreciate seeing people like you and everything on there. So
yeah,
it's awesome.
Well, hey, I got one more question. I'm sorry. I finally remembered my question. This is kind of a silly question, but
right.
I use ATM Part Marts and I use Genmega for repairs. And I find that Genmega prices are better sometimes, but I also don't have the boxes to ship out the dispensers. And I happen to have a couple double dispensers that need some repairs. And it's like, should I send one of them to ATM Part Mart so that I make sure I get a box back from them, so then I can send the other one to Genmega?
Right.
Because they kind of have like a flat rate pricing. And if it's just a couple sensors or whatever, I know you guys have flat rate pricing too, but like at least I can understand and get more information from you guys on like, hey, this was literally just a sensor, like a little like clip with a sensor on it.
Yeah.
It's like $22, you know, and the next time I don't have to do that. And I'm just reluctant to ship this with these guys, these FedEx guys just tossing boxes, like even if you slap fragile stickers on them. So I was just curious if you guys stock those boxes. Can you ship some to me empty with like the coating perfectly done? I'd be interested in buying some.
Right. Yeah, I don't see why not. you know, I'll, you know, check with John and those guys, but I don't really see what the downside is there. You know, if it's helping you out, I think that's fine. So yeah, we can look at that for sure. And maybe sometime Monday we could touch base and see, you know, if we could ship them out to you next week.
With a couple Lululemon shirts too.
Couple
with the
of,
logo.
just no pants, please.
There's no pants. Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Yeah.
No,
I've been
yeah.
in the business 15 years. I don't know. You guys have been along. There's some guys that have been in it long as me, and I just personally really enjoy working with Genmega. I've done a couple of software integrations with them. They are really great to work with. I personally really like you guys. Great company. So thanks for jumping on from my perspective, and thanks for putting this together. You guys from the Facebook group, Benny, Dave, Todd, everybody. You guys moderate a great group.
Yeah. I'll echo that sentiment. I've been hearing about this group for a long time, and I think it's just great. I mean, no matter what manufacturer you buy from, whatever the ATM industry, we are all a family. You know, we're all out here at the trade shows. We see each other a couple times a year, and it's always a great time. So I would say that this is a great resource, and it's an honor to be on. I appreciate you know, the kind words for sure, but just know that, you know, Todd and Dave, you guys do an awesome job moderating, and hopefully it's not the last one. You know, hopefully at some time we can get maybe somebody from support or someone on with you guys. I think that'd be great. I do know we are going to have someone from support out at NAC for the first time, so that'll be neat. And yeah, just humbly say thank you guys so much. I really appreciate the time.
Yeah, no, thank you, Scott. And yeah, definitely if we could in the future, I hope this isn't the last call. I'd love to do a handful more and, you know, help spread the word, you know, and what you guys do for all of us in the industry. So
yeah, well, we appreciate you. And yeah, again, it was great. I have a lot of really good notes here, so I'll do some summarizing here and a couple emails, and we'll be off to the races. Be lying to say I probably will be going directly to the bar after this, have a few drinks, take a load off. But yeah, this has been awesome, man. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, enjoy it. All right, yeah, and thank you everybody for joining and listening in. We appreciate it and hope you gain something out of it. So until next week or whenever we chat, we'll get back at it. So
absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.